Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello again.
We're here again with a new program of That's English.
In today's documentary, we're going to talk about something which is very educational.
Television.
Books.
Sarah, there's nothing as educational as a television program. If it's good, you watch it. And if it's bad, what do you do?
I read a book.
So do I. That's why I live near a public library.
Library means biblioteca y public library means biblioteca pública.
Y donde se venden libros se dice bookshop. En español, librería. En inglés, bookshop.
Today we're going to visit lots of bookshops.
And the documentary is about what the British read.
We'll also talk about different types of books.
And also audiobooks, audiolibros.
Now please make a note of the questions you will have to answer after watching the documentary.
What two kinds of books are the most popular in Britain nowadays? Who is the best-known Latin American author in Britain?
And finally, in what cases are audiobooks specially convenient?
And now let's watch our Out and About. If you are fond of books and find yourself in London, we suggest you go for a walk around the Charing Cross area.
There are dozens of bookshops. Women's bookshops, second-hand bookshops.
Or even ethnic bookshops, where you can find books in languages other than English.
Of course, there are also bookshops specializing in music, art, architecture or design.
This is a true paradise for book lovers.
In this area, there are also huge bookshops taking up several floors, where you will no doubt find the book of your dreams.
According to the latest statistics, 80,000 books are published every year in the United Kingdom.
The British are the second most avid readers in Europe.
53% of the population say that the library is the most popular cultural resource outside home. Much more popular even than the cinema.
The fact that most people in Britain prefer reading to going to the cinema shows they are avid readers. But which are the most popular kind of books?
To find out, we interviewed someone who, because of her job, has very recent information on the topic. Judith Bell, assistant manager of Dillon's, one of the main bookshops in London.
They tend to read lots of different things, but at the moment the most popular things are thrillers, people like John Grisham, but also well-known authors who have a proven track record. People tend to wait for the next book from that author. Biographies are also very big at the minute, famous people. Everybody wants to know what their lives were like, their childhood, so people tend to read that sort of thing.
Are they all British writers?
No, they're not. There are some British writers, a little bit big names like Julian Barnes, etc., but they're mostly American at the moment. People tend to look to American authors, sometimes French and occasionally South American authors like Marquez, but mostly American and British.
We couldn't avoid asking which Spanish or Latin American writers British people prefer.
Marquez is probably the biggest name here, and people read anything by him, and also Allende. A few other lesser-known names, but those two are the ones that people always look to buy.
There was a new kind of book that caught our attention: audio books.
How do you account for the success of audiobooks?
Audiobooks have only just taken off within the last couple of years. Although they are shortened versions of the books, people still like to listen to them. They're easy to take on holiday. If people aren't feeling very well, they will sit and listen. Often if people they're poor eyesight, they're very handy for that as well.
Some of those bookshops are as big as supermarkets.
True. And the book you're looking for is always on another floor on the higher shelf.
As in supermarkets. Do you know the answer to the first question? What two kinds of books are the most popular in Britain nowadays?
But at the moment, the most popular things are thrillers, people like John Grisham, but also well-known authors who have a proven track record. People tend to wait for the next book from that author. Biographies are also very big at the minute, famous people.
Thrillers and biographies. And do you know the answer to the second question? Who is the best-known Latin American author in Britain?
Marquez is probably the biggest name here, and people read anything by him, and also Allende.
Did you hear? García Márquez. But she also mentioned another Latin American author, Allende, Isabel Allende.
And finally, in what cases are audiobooks especially convenient? Let's see.
They're easy to take on holiday. If people aren't feeling very well, they will sit and listen. Often if people they're poor eyesight, they're very handy for that as well.
I'll repeat that for you. To take on holiday, if you're not feeling very well, and for people with poor eyesight, gente que tiene mal la vista.
And now, let's watch our sketch.
I am playing the role of an intellectual for the first time in my life.
That is, a woman that goes into a library even if it isn't raining.
Let's watch our sketch.
You the shop assistant, darling?
No. This is a public library. We don't sell books here, we lend them.
Free? You won't make much money that way. But that's excellent news for me.
Really?
Well, I need books. Lots of books.
I agree entirely. I had already noticed. And what kind of books would you like to read?
Well, I don't know. I've never read a book before.
I believe you.
And I've no intention of reading any.
Now, that's wrong. No one should be more stupid than necessary.
That's what I think. Do I like you, darling?
And, what kind of books do you prefer? Crime, philosophy, science fiction?
A bit of everything.
Which authors?
Give me some names.
Homer, Cervantes, Flaubert, García Márquez, Shakespeare, Plato.
Oh, hold on, that rings a bell. Is that a cookery book?
No. Plato is an author.
Huh. Is he any good?
Well, his books have been about 2,300 years in the market and no one's ever complained.
Well, I don't want any old books. I'm a man of my time, you know.
Look, excuse my asking, but why are you suddenly so interested in books?
Well, I want to get rich.
Then I've got the right book for you. think and get rich?
Well, I don't think I have to think to get rich.
Neither do I.
And I don't think I need books to be rich. I'm going to marry a very rich girl, you know. But it seems I need a bit of culture, you know, for socialising. My fiancé thinks that books can change me.
So do I.
Oh, really? Well, what have I got to do?
Well, we'll begin with some classical works, then theatre,
Oh, theatre.
philosophy, biographies, and poetry. If you read all these books in a few months, you'll be a new man.
And rich. Bye.
Excuse me, madam. Do you remember me?
You... Well, I never thought books would change you so much.
Neither did I.
I suppose you are a rich man now.
You're wrong. I'm poor. And it's all your fault, if I may say.
Did your fiancée leave you?
No, I left her. She was a stupid rich girl. She was always buying clothes, driving around in sports cars, going to parties, all that nonsense. I could not stand her. And it's all your fault.
I don't understand.
Well, all those books you lent me turned me into an intellectual. And I've lost my chance of being rich forever.
Well, I am so sorry.
But it's you I'm interested in now.
Well, this could be the beginning of a friendship.
No, I don't mean that. I'm interested in your knowledge of books. I would like you to help me to open a bookshop. Business is business.
Nothing ever changes.
So, books are terribly useful if you want to be successful.
In business or in love?
In business.
Let's see what we've learned in our summary.
En esta unidad hemos aprendido vocabulario para hablar de distintos tipos de libros.
También a expresar coincidencia de hechos u opiniones.
I love reading.
So do I.
I don't like novels.
Neither do I.
Y por último, a expresar diferencias de hechos u opiniones. I haven't read all those books.
I have.
I like reading biographies.
I don't.
Well, we've come to the end of this interesting program about books.
We just want to say goodbye, and don't forget to watch the next program of That's English.
Say goodbye, Sarah. Bye, friends.
Bye-bye.